Hello everyone. Well, I'm back with some altered pages for this altered book that I'm doing. This time I thought just a few pages on the American Civil War. Now, the American Civil War I know hardly anything about other than what I've seen in Gone with the Wind, and it's not a subject that is particularly covered in schools here, unless you specialise in history and you can read up on it then. But as I say, it was lovely to be able to do a little bit of research for these couple of pages, and I dare say I could do a whole book on the subject, but as it's just an altered book and altered pages, I've just kept this to a minimum because I don't want the whole of this altered book to be about the American Civil War. So this page here is just a fabric, it's like a double fold fabric page, and it's meant to be a little booklet keepsake that a lady kept, and it says, "I keep his sweet words here in my heart, stored away like old love letters tied up in pretty ribbons." And it's just done on some distressed calico with some ties of the same fabric, and let's go to the first side of the page. It's just got a couple of little pockets in. Where are we? Let's pull back a bit. Books aren't very ideal, are they, to show on camera? But on this side there's just a little newspaper cutting from the National News about when Lincoln was shot, and at the back, in the pocket there, is Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, which I'm sure you American ladies will be familiar with. Made for interesting reading, I must say. And on this side is a photograph of the lady's sweetheart, a young man there. And in this pocket, a few of his letters. And because love letters are private, I've not put anything inside there. They're just for show. But on the front there's a little bit which says, "Darling, we will find that farm and grow corn, keep our animals warm and raise our kids in love." So just a little 2-page spread there in fabric, and if we go over the page now, right, on this page it's a collage of the map of Gettysburg there, with Abe in the centre, and in the top left corner we've got a couple of young children, slaves, and one at the bottom. Here we've got a soldier with his daughter, and some young men there. Just portraying really what the war was about, slavery and the relief of. Here on the right hand side, on the right hand page, just a collage made up of the final words of some of the personnel. I'll just read a couple of three for you. This was Colonel Isaac Irwin Avery, who says his final words were, "Tell my father I died with my face to the enemy." And that was a blood-soaked letter found at the Battle of Gettysburg. Here, Brigadier General William Barksdale, "Tell my wife I am shot, but we fought like hell." And he was shot 9 times at Gettysburg. And so it goes on. Colonel Henry King Burgoyne Jr., "Tell the General my men never failed me at any single point." And he was shot through the chest at the Battle of Gettysburg. Major General Patrick Renane Cleburne, "If we're to die, let's die like men." And here I've done a flip out of some of the type of men who actually fought. They could have been as young as 8 right the way through. So if we pull the flip here, we've got photographs of men in camp there. Soldier there. Young boy there. Could you imagine sending your child off to war at that age? And there. And that young boy there. And in the top right corner I've popped a tag. And this picture is interesting because these were ex-slaves after the war in 1937. There was a reunion. And I've just put a chain. This is just symbolic. A chain and a key to the freedom. The chains were freed. Let me go over the page. Here we've got a picture of the rifleman, infantry rifleman there, and I've superimposed that with a copy on tracing paper. Again, symbolic, the man that was, and that's denotes really the shadow of what he was when he's died. Here we've got one of the most famous letters written in the Civil War, and it's quite long, it's quite lengthy. I don't know whether to read it or not. I don't want to bore you with my reading, but I thought it was very poignant, and it just proved to me we tend to think women are the most emotional and write letters of emotion, but I think it's lovely when a man can write at length about his feelings to the woman that he loves. And this is written by Sullivan Ballou, and he writes to his wife Sarah on 14th July 1861, and he says, "My very dear Sarah, The indications are very strong that we shall move in a few days, perhaps tomorrow. Lest I should not be able to write to you again, I feel impelled to write lines that might fall under your eye when I shall be no more. Our movement may be one of a few days' duration and full of pleasure, and it may be one of severe conflict and death to me. Not my will, but thine, O God, be done. If it is necessary that I should fall on the battlefield for my country, I am ready. I have no misgivings about or lack of confidence in the cause in which I am engaged, and my courage does not halt or falter. I know how strongly American civilization now leans upon the triumph of the government, and how great a debt we owe to those who went before us through the blood and suffering of the Revolution. And I am willing, perfectly willing, to lay down all my joys in this life to help maintain this government and to pay that debt. But my dear wife, when I know that with my own joys I lay down nearly all of yours and replace them in this life with cares and sorrows, when, after having eaten for long years the bitter fruit of orphanage myself, I must offer it as their only sustenance to my dear little children. Is it weak or dishonourable, while the banner of my purpose floats calmly and proudly in the breeze, that my unbounded love for you, my darling wife and children, should struggle in fierce, though useless, contest with my love of country? The memories of the blissful moments I have spent with you come creeping over me, and I feel most gratified to God and to you that I have enjoyed them for so long. And hard it is for me to give them up and burn to ashes the hopes of future years, when, God willing, we might still have lived and loved together and seen our sons grow up to honourable manhood around us. I have, I know, but few and small claims upon divine providence, but something whispers to me, perhaps it is the wafted prayer of my little Edgar, that I shall return to my loved ones unharmed. If I do not, my dear Sarah, never forget how much I love you, and when my last breath escapes me on the battlefield, it will whisper your name. Forgive my many faults and the many pains I have caused you. How thoughtless and foolish I have often been. How gladly would I wash out with my tears every little spot upon your happiness, and struggle with all the misfortunes of this world to shield you and my children from harm. But I cannot. I must watch you from the spirit land and hover near you, while you buffet the storms with your precious little freight, and wait with sad patience until we meet to part no more. But oh, Sarah, if the dead can't come back to this earth and flit unseen around those they loved, I shall always be near you, in the brightest day and in the darkest night, amidst your happiest scenes and gloomiest hours, always, always. And if there be a soft breeze upon your cheek, it shall be my breath, or the cool air fans your throbbing temple, it shall be my spirit passing by. Sarah, do not mourn me dead. Think I am gone and wait for me, for we shall meet again. As for my little boys, they will grow as I have done, and never know a father's love and care. Little Willie is too young to remember me, and my blue-eyed Edgar will keep my frolics with him amongst the dimmest memories of his childhood. Sarah, I have unlimited confidence in your maternal care and your development of their characters. Tell my two mothers, his and hers, I call God's blessing upon them. Oh, Sarah, I wait for you there. Come to me and lead thither my children. Stein Sullivan. Well, a beautiful letter. Sullivan was killed a week later at the Battle of Bull Run in 1861, July 21st. When he died, his wife was 24. She moved later to New Jersey to live out her life with her son William, and she never remarried. She died at the age of 80 in 1917, and Sullivan and Sarah are buried next to each other at Swan Point Cemetery in Providence, Rhode Island. They didn't leave any living descendants. So, I thought that was a really interesting piece, and I hope you enjoyed those altered book pages. And when I've done some more, I'll be back again. So, leave you with those ladies. And thank you for looking in. Bye for now. Bye.